off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings NBA slate for Thursday, August 6th. It's a 5-game slate, and let's be frank. Let's be frank. God, I sound like I'm 80. It's going to start to be a little bit tricky as these seeding games wind down before we get to the playoffs. We're very close to the postseason, about a week away or so. 2 weeks away. I got to look at the date. But nonetheless, we're getting close, and some of these top seeds are getting secured. So it's going to be tough to figure out who, are going to run out their entire roster and play their guys in normal rotations, and who are going to be, still play their guys but try to stay sharp for the postseason, but who aren't going to play them a full slate. So it is going to be a bit tricky. This kind of is going to remind you of sort of, without the super tanking, with the sort of last 10 games of the NBA season where you just kind of worry about some of the rotations. So there is a lot of stuff. I would advise you stay on top of the information. Congratulations, information. There you go. Title your sex tape. Stay on top of the information throughout the day. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor to do that. But before I get into everything else, sorry I kind of got sideways there. I want to say a big cheers. Thank you all so much for all your support. I really do appreciate it. All the kind words, hitting that like button, that helps the channel more than you know. Thank you so much for doing that. All the comments, new subscribers, the new people to the show, just all of it is overwhelmingly humbling. And I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I truly appreciate that. Get access to all of our content. Normally we have a WNBA video right after this. I'm still waiting on Dion. He's not feeling all that well, and he's 3 hours ahead of me, and it's already late where I am. So we'll see about that. But if not, I'll be up in the morning. I'll get an MLB video out. I haven't done a baseball video in a few days. But every NBA contest, some MLB, WNBA, of course, the NFL. You can also find me over at sportsbookreview.com, sportsbook review video, odds. We'll be handicapping the NFL season this season. I believe we're going to start doing some filler videos, sort of breaking down the division, some futures, odds, etc. next week once we get through all of this opting out stuff with the NFL. So hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. If you like the channel, subscribe, or if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment in the comment section. You qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. I will announce that winner on Monday. Also, let's say, maybe one day I don't get an NBA video out or I don't get a baseball video out. If you want access to my player pool, all the research tools here, for NBA, you've got history versus opponent, percentage of the time they hit value at that price on each site. I think it's a great stat. It's really helpful. It was a great night tonight. I won a few $100 tonight on all sides. Everything went really good tonight. Jerome Robinson was the play. He was on our cheat sheet here on Draft Dashboard. I also set my player pool, cheat sheet, etc. for baseball, hockey, NFL, NBA. If you want access to the research tools, lineup optimizer, mass lineup generator, my player pool, you can use my player pool to optimize lineups, etc. You can click that link in the video description below, and you can try Draft Dashboard right now for 30 days for $1. I think that's it. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I guess I'm not. I'm definitely not. Actually, the thing I thought I was forgetting, I'm no longer talking about. So there we go. There we have that. Weird day, man. Weird day. Sometimes people are weird. That's all I got to say. Things can be fucking weird sometimes. So let's start at point guard. Right now, Russell Westbrook's listed as questionable for tomorrow. Some sort of quad contusion, I believe. Or right quad. And they're playing the Lakers. The Lakers will be playing a back-to-back. I just don't know Like AD and LeBron played about 30 minutes tonight. It's hard for me to imagine that if they do play tomorrow, that it's more than very sporadically just to stay loose. It's going to be tough to tell. Like right now, I'm fading all high price Lakers. That's LeBron and AD. I just don't think they're going to see the court. Now, Houston is still battling for seeding in the West. I mean, they can get all the way up to the 2 seed. So I think pretty much all the teams in the West, except the Lakers, have something to play for. So this game might be where I only focus on Houston. Of course, if Westbrook's out, James Harden, good Lord, you just hope they don't blow out a secondary squad for the Lakers. We have to see who's actually going to play for the Lakers. But Westbrook hits value. He's 9.6 on Fanduel and 9K on Draftkings. If he had been that price all season long, he'd have hit value 61 and 72% of the time. So, Damian Lillard against Denver. These teams have some, Portland especially, they're trying to stay in that 9 slot, even maybe get to the 8 slot. Remember, the 9 seed in either conference, if they are within 4 games of the 8 seed, will automatically qualify for a play-in tournament. It's essentially a best of 3. It's not a best of 3. If you're the 9 seed, you have to beat the 8 seed twice in a row. And if you're the 8 seed, you just have to beat the 9 seed once, and then you move on to be the official 8 seed in the conference, sort of like the play-in games for the NCAA tournament. Dame Lillard's 9.2 on FanDuel, 9.7 on DraftKings. Doesn't have a great history against Denver, but again, all of that backcourt situation in Denver, they're on a back-to-back tomorrow. Jamal Murray sat out again. Gary Harris, Will Barton. If that's the case again, I'll take the Monty Morris defense against Damian Lillard all day long. I don't mind that price at all. Usually over 9K is tough. You can see he hits value about 54% of the time. He's hit and miss. We'll just have to see what the deal is with Denver's injury situation tomorrow. Luckily, everything's late swap now, so that's really nice. Malcolm Brogdon should play. Played 32 minutes the last game, put up a 29. He's 6'4 on FanDuel, 6'8 on DraftKings. Phoenix, 24th against opposing point guards. Indiana has actually, I mean, they kind of seemed like they were discombobulated in the scrimmages and everything. They've been very, very good since everything's restarted, and they could move up to the 3 seed. Now, Boston winning tonight over Brooklyn, which, I mean, we could all see coming. I mean, when they can all see you coming, you know, you should probably shut the windows. But, you know, I don't mind the FanDuel price. 6.8's a little high on DraftKings. Jamal Murray, he hasn't played yet. We'll have to see he's dealing with that hamstring issue. Now, look, they very well could have held him out tonight. He could have been ready to play. They may have just gave him another day tonight, and he can play tomorrow. We'll have to see. If he does play, I don't mind the FanDuel price. I don't know how hard Denver's going to go at it. Now, they're right there with the Clippers for the 2 seed. Both Denver and the Clippers would love the 2 seed because they could avoid the Lakers in the second round. And I think, so you'll see a battle for that spot. So I think if he's ready to go, he'll play. It's still a little iffy, and it's a hamstring, so he could very well be limited. There's right now no interest in Jamal Murray. Ricky Rubio against the Pacers. Pacers are 10th against point guards. It's a cheap price for Rubio. 6K on FanDuel, 6.6 on DraftKings. In his last 5 games against the Pacers, he does have a 43 and a 50, but he's also got a 12, a 22, and a 14. So there are a wide range of outcomes for Ricky Rubio, but I could certainly go there. Goran Dragic is questionable. The ankle MRI came back negative. We'll have to see if he plays. Jimmy Butler's already been ruled out. Could be a lot of Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn, who's been a real bastard to us so far in this restart. And then there's a lot of value on the slate, and especially as you see teams who are going to play their backups more. So I'm just going to real quickly here go over a few players who are going to play some minutes that are 4-5 and under, 5K and under on FanDuel, and I'll give their DraftKings price as well. So Bledsoe, look, Milwaukee, we saw what they're going to do, how they're going to handle this, and you can't blame them. They've already essentially got the 1 seed locked up. It'll take a virtual miracle for Toronto to catch them. But Bledsoe's only 4-7 and 5-2. So of all the starters, he'd probably be the one I'd gravitate to the most, just because he doesn't have to do a lot to hit value if they only play him in a half. He played 18 minutes the last game. He got a 14. It's risky. Monty Morris at 4-5. If Jamal Murray misses, he's going to play a ton of minutes. Played another 35 minutes today. Kendrick Nunn's 4-5 FanDuel, 4-1 DraftKings. Again, no Jimmy Butler. His last 2 games at 29 and a 38 against Milwaukee. Aaron Holiday, even with Oladipo and Brogdon back, Aaron Holiday finds himself in the starting lineup playing in the mid-30s. He's 4-2 and 4-8. I could go there. Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverley injured, probably will not play. I think he's already been ruled out of this game. Yeah, he has. He's 4K on Fanduel. Now he's 5'8 on DraftKings. That's not going to fucking happen. But the 4K price on Fanduel, yeah, he should get all the minutes in the world tomorrow. A 43, 28, and a 34 his last three against Dallas. I like Reggie Jackson quite a bit. Alex Caruso was battling like a little back issue coming into tonight. He did play. It's a back-to-back, but he's 3-4 on DraftKings. I could go there. Cameron Payne should see some minutes. Trey Burke. Tomorrow, Seth Curry is doubtful for Dallas. Now, he played 23 minutes the last game. He was announced as a starter. Then that was recanted very quickly, for whatever the fuck is going on there. But still, 3-5 FanDuel, 3-4 DraftKings. We saw just a couple games ago in 29 minutes he can put up a 44. He can get red hot. Tough defensive game against the Clippers. But again, he'd be playing against the Clippers bench most likely, not, maybe the second unit you'll see some more Paul George. Paul George tends to be the one guy in that second unit, but he could see some favorable matchups. I think Trey Burke for tournaments is an interesting play. Let's go to shooting guards. There's a lot to get to in these smaller slates for this. You got Luka, 10-7 FanDuel, 11-3 DraftKings. Obviously, he's been red hot. Put up that 30, 20, and 10 game the other night, which he's just phenomenal. Of course, you got to like Luka. Now, the Clippers are ninth against shooting guards. He's really a point guard. It's going to be Reggie Jackson defense. Maybe they put Paul George on him. He put up a 64 his last time out against the Clippers. Dude's red hot. You got to love Luka. Right below that, I think Luka's safer than James Harden. And the reason I say that is you may see the Lakers throw out their B team tomorrow. It won't shock me if LeBron and AD rest, especially AD. Very fragile man. Let's not fuck around and get AD injured. I'm a Lakers fan, so I would rather see AD healthy in the playoffs. I mean, just as an NBA fan, this feels like to me, like I know like we're all, it's going to be weird without the fans, blah, blah, blah. I'm starting to think this might be the most legit playoff competition we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Think about this. No traveling for the road teams. No bullshit home, foul referee favoritism. These teams are playing against each other heads up in best of 7 series. No crowd interference. No bullshit travel. No nothing. Just straight head-to-head neutral field. I think this is going to, the more I get into it, I'm like, damn, this is going to be exciting. I'm really excited about that. So you just kind of worry that Houston will beat the brakes off the B squad of the Lakers. So how hard would they run James Harden as well? No, James Harden's notorious for playing a ton of minutes. He's 10-6 fan. If you want to have exposure to James Harden in any tournament whatsoever, just because he could go off for 100 points. I mean, he just went for 89 the other night. Devin Booker against the Pacers. Love Devin Booker coming off that buzzer beater where he talks shit to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, saying that's game, right as the shot's going down. Beautiful thing of beauty. He's 8K FanDuel, 8-3 on DraftKings. Indiana is number 1 in the league against opposing shooting guards. Look at his last 5 against Indiana. Only one game over 30. That was a 41. But I'll still have exposure to him because I think this is a very important game for both teams. Pacers for seeding, and Phoenix right now is just a couple of games back of Portland for the 9 seed and 3 games back of Memphis for the 8 seed. So they're right in the hunt. Basically every team in the West is in the hunt for that last playoff spot. So I do like Devin Booker. Paul George, same scenario. Dallas 22nd against opposing shooting guards. A 50 of 49 his last 2 against them. I could go there. CJ McCollum. I like CJ McCollum quite a bit. I like Portland players because they're going for it. They have got to win to stay in the playoff scenario. And of all the teams down there at the bottom, Portland has a shit ton of talent. Remember, they haven't had Nurkic all year long. All of a sudden, he's come back and is in an absolute beast mode. I like McCollum a lot. 7-3 on FanDuel, 7-9 on DraftKings. No Bucks for me. I just won't play any Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm going to play a Buck, it'll be like Dante DiVincenzo or something. Some sort of value. He's 4-9 and 5-1. I'll see about 25 minutes. He could start if they bench some of the starters. We'll just have to see, especially with Miami not having Jimmy Butler. If they get a big lead, you won't see their starters back. Victor Oladipo, 5-6 FanDuel, 5-5 DraftKings. Came back after resting, played 27 minutes. Phoenix is 6th against shooting guards, which is surprising, but I could do a little Victor Oladipo. That's what she said. Lou Williams made his return, played 20 minutes and scored 20. 4-7 and 5K. I think they want to get him up to speed. 49, 32, 31, and 41 in 4 of his last 5 against Dallas. I could certainly go there. With no Jimmy Butler, more shots for Duncan Robinson. Again, he's 3-point dependent. He needs to be making his shots. If he's missing his shots, it can get real ugly like we saw the other day when he got an 8. And I was lucky enough to play him. One guy I do like without Jimmy Butler in the lineup, and especially if Dragic misses as well, Tyler Hero. 3.9 on FanDuel, 3.6 on DraftKings. Of course, Milwaukee, a great defensive team, but again, we don't know if we're going to get the full squad of Milwaukee. Tyler Hero has shown upside this year. If he gets going, he could put up a ton of points, so I think he's an interesting tournament play, especially with Jimmy Butler gone. Torrey Craig got hurt today, just his lip. Then Gary Harris, we don't know if he's going to play, so we'll have to see what the backcourt situation is. Again, we'll just have to follow the news tomorrow. One of my favorite value plays, he's playing in the mid-30s every single night, is Gary Trent Jr. 3.9 on FanDuel, 4.4 on DraftKings. He's played 33 and 35 minutes the last two games, put up 51 fantasy points. He's 3.9 and 4.4. I think the price is right for him. Thank you, Bob Barker. KCP, especially if LeBron sits. Look, he's not doing a ton with his minutes. He's got some upside against Houston. He's got a bunch of single digits and teens, but he's also got a 38. And if LeBron's not there, the ball will be in his hands more. He'll get some more shots up. That's it at shooting guard. Let's go to small forwards. So I've already adjusted Giannis's projection. I have him projected at about 30. I think he'll play about a half. That's what he did the last game. Played 15 minutes, put up a 26. Just not going there. LeBron, I haven't adjusted his yet. I'll have to wait and see, but I'm going to be really surprised if LeBron has a full workload tomorrow. I'm probably not going to LeBron either, which is a shame because the Rockets allow the most points in the league to opposing small forwards, but a guy like Kuzma, KCP, Dion Waiters, these sorts of players for value could be nice against Houston tomorrow. TJ Warren. It's a revenge game. Phoenix gave him away for basically nothing. He's been red hot. You could argue there's been no better player since the league restarted in the bubble than TJ Warren. He's scored a 67, a 74, and a 51. He's 8,800 now on FanDuel and 8,400 on DraftKings. Just to give you some perspective, if he had been that price all season long, he would have hit value on each site 17% of the time. Phoenix 18th against small forwards. All the signs indicate that he's still a good play. I think it's overpriced. If I'm playing 10 lineups, I'll probably go a little under the field tomorrow and maybe go 3 out of 10. I'll have exposure to him, but the wheels are going to fall off this train. He's made the most threes in a 3-game span he's ever made in his career. It's just bizarre. Again, no Sabonis equals more usage for TJ Warren. It's a big price tag for him. He's $3,000 more than he was a week ago. Kawhi Leonard, TJ Warren is right now more expensive than Kawhi Leonard, so I'll take Kawhi. 8.4 on FanDuel, 8.7 on DraftKings. Dallas 22nd against opposing small forwards. Kawhi in his last 4 against Dallas, 51, 50, 45, and 66. So I like that for Kawhi. Have to wait and see on Will Barton. Carmelo, little revenge game against Denver. His last 2 against Denver, a 4, in typical Carmelo fashion, but also a 42 and a 40. He's played really well. I think he's too cheap, 5.1 and 5.6. I'll go right back to that. Well, I think Tim Hardaway's too cheap on FanDuel at 5.1. 5.9 on DraftKings, a little bit iffy. Again, a tough matchup. The Clippers are an excellent wing defensive team on the wing. Michael Bridges, under 5K here. He's 4.8 on FanDuel, 4.9 on DraftKings. Indiana is second against small forwards, but Michael Bridges is playing in the mid to high 30s every single game. Opportunity equals points. I'll take that price. Daniel House. Some of these value guys for Houston I like. So let's just go over it because there's a bunch of value players here who are going to play, and I'm going to have them all in my player pool, and they all have their own sort of upside. You got Daniel House at 4.5 and 4.9. I could go there. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4.5 and 4.7. He just put up a 35 and 41 minutes in the last game. Cameron Johnson is starting for Phoenix. Again, no Sabonis, so that hurts them defensively a little bit. He's played 40 and 37 minutes in the last 2 games. He's 4.2 FanDuel, 4.9 DraftKings. No Jimmy Butler. Jay Crowder's already starting. More shot attempts, a 28 and a 38 and a 24 his last 3 against Milwaukee. He's 4K on FanDuel, 4.4 on DraftKings. I could go there. You could definitely see more Dion Waiters. Struggled a little bit tonight, but he's 3.8 and 3.9. Quite a few value plays. Derek Jones Jr. If Jimmy Butler sits, Derek Jones could start. Derek Jones Jr., when he starts, has 50-point upside. He's 3.6 and 37. Again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see who Miami throws out in that starting lineup. But a lot of interesting value plays tomorrow. especially on Fanduel. A lot of value on Fanduel. Let's go to power forwards. Anthony Davis. If this was in a bubble and they're just playing, he put up a 70 last time he was playing Houston, sure. But on a back-to-back when they have the 1 seed clinched, I just don't see it. I'm not going to go there. Porzingis, they brought his price back down to reality. Let's not kid ourselves. He was too expensive the last slate. Still scored a 36 in 27 minutes. And of course, he didn't hit value. But now he's 8-6 FanDuel, 8-5 DraftKings. This is where the Clippers struggle defensively, especially when Montrezl Harrell's not there. They're 22nd against power forwards. He's going to play center, of course. Who's going to deal with them? Zubats? Come on. Kristaps Porzingis should block some shots tomorrow, hit some shots. Only a 35 and a 26 his last 2 against the Clippers. But I like his price. I like Porzingis. Bam Adebayo. Milwaukee, again, could be playing at half-mast, half-staff. Welcome to the team, title of my sex tape. But with no Jimmy Butler, the offense should really, really run through Bam, especially if Dragic is out as well. He's got a 44 and a 47 his last 2. I like Bam. Robert Covington, yeah, I like the up 39 and 31 his last 2. I hate the price, 6-6 and 6-5. Probably will just go down to Michael Porter Jr., who's just been red fucking hot. He scored another 50-burger or high 40s today. He's 5'5 and 6'4. Portland allows the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing power forwards. Michael Porter Jr. is putting himself on the map. And let me tell you this right now. If Denver gets healthy and Michael Porter Jr. is progressing at this rate, that team is fucking loaded. That's a loaded roster. Denver everyone should be paying attention to Denver, especially the ascension of Michael Porter Jr. these last few games. Paul Millsap is going to play in the mid-30s. He's got 35-point upside. Again, we just talked about the matchup against Portland. Zach Collins, under 5K, we got Zach Collins. He's going to play, in the high 20s to mid-30s. He's 4.8 on FanDuel, 4.3 on DraftKings. I like Zach Collins quite a bit on DraftKings. Marcus Morris finally had that bounce-back game that I've been talking about. Put up a 29 in 35 minutes. His last 2 games against Dallas, a 45 and a 31. I mean, there's risk there, but the price is right. He's gonna see the minutes. I don't hate the Marcus Morris play. Jeff Green is seeing solid minutes off the bench for Houston. He's got some 30-point upside at 4-1 and 3-9. Jeremy Grant, look, 32 and 31 his last 2 against Portland. He still plays high 20s to low 30s, especially with all the other injuries. In fact, 4 of his last 5 against Portland, only 1 of those games was under 30. That was a 12. The rest of them 31, 32, 34, and 30. Dario Saric, Maxi Kleber, Ursan Ilyasova will see minutes when they sit Giannis down. Jermichael Green and Marvin Williams are going to see some minutes. There's a lot of tournament sprinkles, if you will, down there in the value range. Let's go to center. So Nurk against Denver. I always love the Nurkic-Jokic matchups. They love to go at each other. Rent that sex tape. It's going to be troubling. But Nurk was the backup in Denver to Jokic. And they were kind of trying to decide, hey, which one of these guys do we want to keep? Well, they decided to go with Jokic. I think it was the right call, but they're both very, very good. But Nurk has not forgotten. It's a back-to-back for Denver. Portland's 20th against centers. Denver's 13th. I like them both. So on FanDuel, Nurkic is more expensive, 9-1 and 8-9 over Jokic. On DraftKings, Nurkic is 8-9 and Jokic is 9-5. So do with that what you will. I'll have a slight exposure to both. I think right now I prefer Nurkic just because he had the extra day of rest. I'm not big on these big men. Even though I know they don't have to travel, they're just going right back to their, wide world of sports complex bubble housing or whatever it is that they're doing. But I'll take the rest of Nurkic. They like to go at each other again. Last time Jokic played Portland, he put up a 69. He's had some bad games against them too. Ayton against Miles Turner and the Pacers. Pacers are 24th against opposing centers. No Sabonis there either. He hasn't had the greatest success in his short career so far against Indiana, 34, 25, and 29. But he's got 50-point upside. He's 7-5 and 7-2. I could go there. I don't mind Miles Turner either. He's 6'4 and 6'2. Phoenix 25th against opposing centers. DeAndre Ayton is not good defensively. He's getting a little better. He seems to be progressing a little bit. But a 48, a 39, and a 28, his 3 games against them, it's kind of a limited player pool. Brook Lopez, he rested the last game. That was a kind of a late piece of information. So he'll probably be back. How big of a role he plays in terms of any of the starters, I don't know. So I probably won't go there. Kelly Olynyk, has just been boom. He's just been amazing. He's 5K on Fanduel, 4.8 on Draftkings still, and you got to play him. He's playing 30 minutes. There's no Jimmy Butler. He's going to have even more offensive burden. Milwaukee, 9th against centers, but again, are we going to see a full-strength Milwaukee team? Are we going to see a fully engaged Milwaukee team? A 42, a 30, and a 35 in the 3 games back. Sign me up for that. Then some value guys. Zubats, last 2 games has finally made me look smart. I keep talking about him. He's put up a 29 and a 31. He's 4-5 and 4-8. Dallas 21st against opposing centers. Dwight Howard sat out today. He may sit out tomorrow. That'll help the likes of maybe a Markieff Morris and JaVale McGee. But Houston, again, plays very, very small. So you might see a lot more Markieff Morris tomorrow. It could be an interesting play. Tournament dart throw. PJ Tucker will see all the minutes in the world. It's not a big surprise when he plays 40 minutes. Now he can go out there and get you a 5 in 40 minutes. 39, 10, 15, and 20 his last 4 against the Lakers, but opportunity breeds success, and he's 3-8 and 4-2, so I suppose I could go there as well. So that's my early look right now at all the positions. Again, it's sort of the Kama Sutra of DFS here, right? There we go. You can get access to my entire player pool, which will expand throughout the day. I'm a grower, not a shower after all. There you go. Just so you know, grower, not a shower. Not that that's important. I do these videos late. I mean, for fuck's sake, Didn't get one damn tweet about telling everyone to play Jerome Robinson, who's like 2%. Anyways, you can get access to this tool, all the research for MLB, batter versus pitcher, pitcher versus batter, 3-year weighted OPS, all sorts of stuff for MLB, as well as my cheat sheet there, player pool and cheat sheet for hockey. Click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. When you do, how you find that player pool is you simply will click on your watched players. That'll either be on the side menu here, if you have your screen expanded back like I do, or zoomed back, I should say. Or if it's not, you'll have these 3 arrows up here. You can click it here, and you'll go to your watched players, the players that you're clicking to put in your player pool for the lineup optimizer. And when you click that, if you've used the link in the video description, you'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks, as well as a timestamp in Eastern Time when it's last been updated. And then you can use that in the lineup optimizer. You can use it in the mass lineup generator. Generate 100 lineups. If there's a player who's late scratch and you've already got all your lineups in, you're like, shit, how do I fix 150 lineups? How do I fix 100 lineups? You can download your lineups from Fanduel and Draftkings. You can upload them into Draft Dashboard, re-optimize, removing the scratched player, and then re-upload them quickly back into Fanduel and Draftkings. You can also do the cash game. If you're playing cash games, the cash game optimizer as well. And then it'll spit out lineups. Like right now I don't have my full player pool set, so it's pretty random. Let's see. Something like this, a little different. I probably wouldn't have both Porzingis and Luka. There's a lot of different ways you can go. Again, click the link, try it for 30 days for $1, fill out your player pool, compare it to mine, etc. Cameron Payne, 3-4 on DraftKings could be an interesting play tomorrow as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I really appreciate all the support. A big cheers to you all. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Good luck tomorrow. We get a little bit later of a start tomorrow. I think it's like 1 o'clock, which is kind of nice, 1:30 instead of that 10:30 a.m. stuff. So a little bit of time to digest everything. Be part of our weekly PayPal giveaway by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment in the comment section. May the fantasy gods be with you all. We will see you in the morning. I'm going to do my damnedest to get an MLB video out, and we'll see. I'll message Dion, see how he feels when I get done with this. I'm not thinking he's feeling all that well. If he is, we'll get a WNBA video out. If not, we'll go on to the next slate. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.